Well, welcome to the first in a series of 4 videos featuring ordinary people talking about interesting things that have happened in their lives. The series is called Times in the Life of. My first video I'm going to be talking to someone you know very well. In the past he has protected his country from our enemies. He has had some interesting jobs, such as the captain of the Royal Australian Navy vessel. He now protects the North End Bowling Club green from the club's enemies, which are Leeds and Foxpoo. He's one of the most likeable and popular club members. It's Russ Reeves.
I was born in a wee fishing village in Scotland called Glasgow. It was in the late 50s, born in 57. It was, can you believe it, was almost 12 years after, only 12 years after the war.
Yeah.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's totally shocking. Anyway, yeah, so I was born in 57 in pigeons. Yeah. I knew I shouldn't have fed the buggers. But anyway, yeah, so born in Glasgow, basically in the slums. It was quite hard, actually. But I loved every minute of it. I really loved every minute of it. I learned how to look after myself. We used to have fights. I mean, I was only 4 or 5 years old, but excuse me, I'm trying to get an interview here. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah, so as I said, it was where, when we had outside toilets, there wasn't any sort of home helps or anything. You were just brought up hard,
Yeah.
you know, use paper for toilet paper and things like, you know. But, and I can always remember it, but the first thing I remember was we used to play outside. You were there from morning to night, you know yourself.
Yeah.
There was no sort of gadgets or anything. Your mum and dad kicked you out and they didn't want you back until it was dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget it. We used to have a hill just 20 yards up from the house, that, and we used to get the old prams, and all the wains and kids used to jump in this pram at the top of the hill and zoom down the hill, you know, like a bogey, like a go-kart sort of thing, like, you know. And I'll never forget it. And it was my turn. I must have been about 5. And I got into the pram at the top. My big brother was down at the bottom. And this little sod, he had a jar full of every bloody creepy crawly that you could actually, centipedes, caterpillars, spiders, worms, you name it. It was in this bloody thing. And unbeknownst to me, I'm holding on in this pram, 5 years old, holding on to this pram, ready to go down this hill, and this little sod poured all these bloody things in the back, and I'm going down, and they all started to crawl up my legs and up my back, and I screamed. It's something that I'll never ever forget. I screamed, I jumped out of that bleeding pram, and I'm running around like a banshee saying, get them off me, sort of thing. 4 months I was bloody paranoid, you know, and it took me 40 years to actually pick up an insect again.
Really?
For a spider. 40 years it took me. And I'll never forget that, and I can't remember who it was, but I wanted to batter 10 bells at you. I was 5 years old. Can you imagine it? Just like everything creeping up. Before that, you used to pick up worms and spiders and let them crawl all over you. No. As I said, it took me until I was a good 40 or 45 before I could actually pick up spiders and caterpillars. Horrendous. Okay. At 16 and a half, I signed, did all the exams to join the Navy, and 4 weeks I was on the dole. I left school and I signed on the dole, and I was 4 weeks on it. £4 a week was my dole money. It was brilliant, you know, my own money, you know. I joined the Navy in the July 74, and I went down to Ganges, which was a training establishment, HMS Ganges in Shotley, in Ipswich.
Okay.
And used to get paid fortnightly. And my first pay packet was £8 a fortnight. So I wasn't getting any bloody more than I was when I signed on the dole.
No.
But as I said, yeah, so my first paycheck was £8 a fortnight. It was still £4 a week. And then I left that, joined Pembroke, and I went up to the dizzy height of £22 a fortnight. First ship was HMS Norfolk, which was a guided missile destroyer. A grey sleep messenger of death, that's what it was. Tell you what, first time we went to sea, I was yakking my bloody ring up, I was, you know. I got straight out of Portsmouth Harbour, and it started going like that, and up and down like that, and I thought, I don't like this. 77 I joined the Bulwark, which is flat top carrier.
Yeah, yeah.
And I spent a lovely 5 years on there. It was in what we called preservation by operation. It was basically a shore base in Pompey Dockyard. Yeah. And then the Navy decided to commission it. So I commissioned it, sailed on it, and decommissioned it.
Okay.
All right. And that was in '81, just before the Falklands.
Okay.
But I'll never forget it. We did the American trip, and we went to Mayport, Florida. We went to New York, and that's where on the flight deck, I'll show you a photograph of it. The ship's company were on there, and it said GB with a big heart. This is all we manpower with the hats now. So on the flight deck, you've got GB, a big heart, loves NY.
So you were telling me about when your ship was supposedly sunk.
Oh, yeah! Bloody hell. I was on the Glasgow. I joined the Glasgow in 1984. I'll never forget it. It was the 12th of March 1984. We sailed for the Gulf, and we were doing a Miller patrol. Now basically that's, you go through the Suez Canal, you get to the Straits of Hormuz, which is between Arab and Djibouti and that, you know. And we were just patrolling to make sure the oil tankers was passing by. And we did 3 weeks on and a week off, sort of thing, just off period. And we're doing a patrol, and we get a signal, or the captain got a signal, saying that Panorama had actually told the British public that HMS Glasgow had been sunk in the Straits of Hormuz. Yes. Yeah. We were on a beach having a banyan. Honestly, we went ashore. We're off watch. We went ashore. Some of these gunners went and killed a bloody wild boar, you know. And we were on beach. We were roasting a boar, and we'd crate loads of beer, and we were having parties, and just to relax as one does, like, you know. And yet back home, all the families are saying, "Oh no, the ship's been sunk." All the, you know, the captain's wife's trying to contact all the wives saying, "Don't worry, it's not true. Everything's okay." It took them a good 2 or 3 days to actually prove. And of course, in these days, you didn't have telephones, and you didn't have, it was letters, you know. And we didn't know what was going on until about a fortnight later.
As I said in the introduction, you went to secondment to the Australian Royal Navy.
How they picked me, I do not know. I must have been in the right place at the wrong time. And after about 6 weeks, it was the end of their rugby season, and
they very kindly offered me to go on their little end of tour season trip. And basically what they do is they hire a boat, you know, a little sort of, I won't say a yacht, but you know, one of these little boats, 6-seater or 6-bed berth boat things. And they just sail up and down the Hawkesbury River in New South Wales, just getting totally bollocksed, all right? And they invited me. So the Friday afternoon, we sailed at 12. There was 6 people on board. There was 13 crates of TUIs and VB, hoping to last the weekend. Remember, this is only a Saturday and coming back Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. But 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, we'd run out. All right. It was non-stop. How my liver managed to bloody survive, I do not know. But 3 o'clock Saturday, they decided we need to go and replenish the beer, the alcohol. So we had this little sort of dinghy sort of thing, like, you know, and you couldn't actually get close to the sides of the river because it was too sort of shallow. So they actually anchored, get into the dinghy, and week away to get some replenishments. Of course, they decided that I was to be the captain of this little dinghy, this little boat. And of course, I was still half cut, you know, and I will do that. I was thinking I was going to do my Horatio Nelson, doing da-da-da. I'll go and get the things for the boys. So there was 4 of us. We get into this bloody dinghy, and we're rowing this thing. One's going that way, somebody's going that way, and we're going round in circles. Right? And I'm saying, I'm at the back and I'm saying, come on, we've got to. That's where we're aiming for, like, you know. Okay, Captain, he's saying. So he finally managed to sort of get into some resemblance of order, sort of thing, like, you know. Unfortunately, and they'll blame me for this, but it wasn't me. I just sort of moved a little bit too far, and we bloody sunk. No bloody thing went upside down. So we're struggling away, and they're saying there's sharks and there's piranhas and everything in the Hawkesbury River sort of thing, like, you know. I'm saying, so they're swimming down to the front.
Crocodile?
Oh, everything you could bloody imagine. You couldn't see underneath it was all manky and dirty, but the Hawkesbury River's a bloody big river sort of thing. It goes miles. So we're sort of paddling and trying to get to the what do you call it? The dinghy to the side. We finally managed to do it after toing and froing and a lot of cursing, you know, calling me all the pommy, you know what's under the sun, like, you know, you stupid pommy, we'll never let you captain a ship again, sort of thing, like, you know. Hey, I'm a stores accountant, I don't, you know. So we get there, we upturn, we managed to go and get some more of the amber nectar, you know, filled up, went back, and I can happily say that there wasn't any more incidents on that trip. So we got home about sort of 7 o'clock Sunday night. Best 48 hours of my life. It really was. It was absolutely marvellous. But I really have. But and then obviously I went back down to the Falklands again in '87 after the other thing, and we went to Portsmouth Harbour, which is in South Georgia, and it's basically a whaling station. And I was on the Dumbarton Castle then, all a wee ship, you know. And I'll never forget it. It's lovely because the whaling station's there, and there's a wee church in the whaling station. And every ship that goes in there, visitors should just go in and sign their name. And that's my name's in there.
Okay.
Yep. And just round the edge of the station, there's a cemetery. Now, you know that photograph I showed you with me going, look at me, my big explorer type thing?
Yeah.
Well, down at the bottom of that hill,
was a cemetery, and that's where Ernest Shackleton's buried.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, so is there another wee bit of useless information sort of thing, like,
Yeah.
you know?